Hello friends, in this session we are going to talk about assertions in SOAP UI. Assertions are very helpful in validating our response. So first let us try to understand what is meant by assertion. Assertion is a term which is commonly used whenever you are using either automation test cases or even performance test cases, or for example test cases which are used in SOAP UI. So assertion help us to validate whether the message which is received in the response is correct or not. And in SOAP UI you will see that there are different type of assertions which we can use to validate our message. So we are going to discuss practically these assertions. We are going to check from the script and from the SOAP UI tool itself, include these assertions and validate them and see how they help us to check the messages. So let us open SOAP UI, our script, and see that how we can include different type of assertions. So let me open SOAP UI. So this is my SOAP UI and this is the helping testers project which we have been using. I'm going to the test suite and then this is the test case. These are the test steps which have been created by us. So let me just expand the test steps, and this is our test case for getting the list of products. Okay, so it's going to this particular endpoint URL. This is the XML which we are seeing. This is the raw data which is not there, and if we run this particular request, you can see you are getting this particular response. Now as of now, I am here to validate that okay, the response has been received successfully. The response is their response message contains an XML file. But what if you have to run multiple test cases? You have not just one, you have many test cases like this, and you have to validate them. So for them, you will not sit for all the time whenever the test cases are running, and you will not check that whether this particular message is correct or not. So it will become very tedious if you have to go to each and every request and check there that whether the response XML received is valid or invalid. Okay, so in order to resolve this problem, we are given the option of assertions in our SOAP UI. So you can see that here assertions are 0 right now. For this request there are no assertions which are added. Okay, so let us try to add some assertion. So if you click on this, so firstly we came to the request, we executed. You may or may not execute the request for adding the assertion. I usually prefer running it so that I know that what is the expected result from a valid scenario, and in that then we can include some negative assertions also. So this is my assertion. I will just click on it, so you can see that one more window has opened up. So let me just drag it down, and in this window which has opened up, you can see that there is a plus icon. So using this plus icon, I can add any assertion. Once I click on this plus icon, you can see that these are the different type of assertions, categories which are available to me. And once I click on any of these assertion, I can just include it in my script. So some of them you can see as disabled, which can be enabled also if we are using SOAP UI Pro version. So right now we are using the SOAP UI open source version, so that is why some of them are coming as disabled, but we will be covering mostly all of them which are available and which are commonly used. So first let us see a simple assertion the way in which you can add a simple assertion. It says contains. So you have some text also mentioned here which can help you to understand that whether this particular assertion is helpful for us and in which way it is going to help me. Okay, so contains, as the name suggests, that it checks that whether your response message contains a specific text or specific property or specific value or not. So you can see it is saying content. Now I can mention anything here. So I'm saying suppose 61, which I can see that is there in the response message. You can ignore case in comparison, and you can use the regular expressions which we will be covering later. So I'm just checking whether this content 61 is available in the response message or not. So I click on OK, and you can see that my assertion has been increased to 1 because I just added, and it says contains valid. So that means that it executed the assertion based on the response which was available and checked that OK 61 is present in this particular response. So in this way I can add one more assertion. So let us add one more. You can give a meaningful name to the assertion so that you can validate using so the unique name will help you to individually identify the assertion which is running, so that if any assertion fails you can know by seeing the name only that what exactly failed rather than waiting to open it. Okay, so next is suppose product content. So what we are doing is the content which is obtained in the product name tag, that is what I'm trying to assert using this particular assertion. So I have written strawberry because that is what is returned in one of the product name tags for me. So I click on OK again. So you can see that it is valid because we have put the right information. So now let us see, this is how you can validate the positive text. Now suppose if I want to do anything invalid, I enter some invalid text. So basically what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to check that if some invalid text is returned in my response message, then whether my assertion is going to catch it or not. So let us do one thing. Let us do category content match. Okay, so I'm going to check the category here. So here you can see that the response message is having watch. So I will just write the spelling of watch incorrect and click on OK. So you can see that now the content match for the category name failed. So it's saying watches, and what we entered as the expected result is having a different content message. So that is why it is failed. So if we get anything incorrect, that means my assertion is going to catch it. So this was one way to check for the content. Now if I want to check for any particular tag also, then I can do that using my contains assertion. For example, I can see that there is an item tag is there, so I can just copy this value. Again I will go to contains. So you can see ID tag, check, and paste it. So again it has returned positive result because this is a right tag which I have passed in this assertion. Okay, so it is able to find this value. So in this way you can put anything from your XML file, and you can check that whether that particular value is returned or not in the response message, so that you can be sure that when your request ran it gave a valid output or not. Okay, so you can see out of 4, one assertion for me is failing, so 3 are passing and 1 is failing. Okay, now once this is done, what I'm going to do is I will be adding one more assertion. Now we will see not contains. So it is what a negative case of contains. So if any value is not available, then we can put this, that we should not get any 401 error in the response XML. So if I do OK here, you can see that now this particular assertion is passing because it is checking that the response message should not contain 401, which is true that our response is not having any such value. 401 is not there, so it is just giving us a pass result because it does not contain any such value. Okay friends, so I hope now the concept of contains and not contains in the assertion is clear to you. Okay, and now next what we are going to study is XPath match, which we are going to cover in the next class. So we will first cover what exactly is a XPath, and then how we can use an XPath match in our JMeter, or I'm sorry, in our SOAP UI script. Okay, so we'll start first with what is XPath, how you can create XPath, and then how to use those XPaths in our SOAP UI. So till then you can practice contains and not contains assertions. Okay, thank you for joining.